Hello everybody, welcome to Oscar Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and drop a like on this video. I'm trying to hit 100k subscribers on the channel by the end of the year, so your subscription would be much appreciated. Also drop a like, only takes 1 second, makes a massive difference in how the video performs in the YouTube algorithm. So we are doing hot takes, and I want to say right out of the gate that these hot takes were taken like 2 weeks ago, like right at the very start of the season. Not 2 weeks ago, like a week ago, but that'll be interesting to see how some of these have aged, as they are all early season takes. Also, got the worst haircut I've had in months, maybe even a year the other day. Don't make a comment on it. I asked for a high fade, and I guess her interpretation of that was that the fade should start right here. Ridiculous. Anyways, let's get on with the takes. Pascal Siakam will be All-NBA second team this season. He will show the world. Okay, Aladdin. He is playing phenomenal right now, so I do believe this is very well within the realm of possibility. Pascal has been playing like a top 10 player in the league so far. His mid-range game only continues to get more and more better. Last year he got to the point of being borderline elite. This year it seems like it's all the way towards elite. Pascal is a player that I've gone back and forth on opinion-wise. Initially, I thought he was kind of overrated, especially when he broke out on the 2019 Raptors, and especially how people talked about him after his first season as a lone star. I felt like so many people were like, yeah, he's pushing top like 12 conversations, and I'm like, are we seeing the same basketball player right now? But at this point, he's actually reaching that, and I honestly believe that he is very underrated. So yeah, I believe this take second all NBA second team is definitely within the realm of possibility for him, especially because the forward spot has so many players who are injured or sitting games and shit. Talking about Kawhi in that instance, and Anthony Davis, who will miss a bunch of games because he's Anthony Davis, you know. This take aged extremely well. Nathan said that this year Rusty will put some respect on Brook Lopez's name. Now, my name is not Rusty, it is Jacob. However, that was a bad, gross noise. However, I did change my mind about Brook Lopez, or I have thus far at the very least. Last year he was really bad because he was dealing with a back injury in part, but my biggest gripe with Brook Lopez has been less Brook himself and more what he represents, which is the concept of the good shooter for a big man. I've explained before why that drives me fucking nuts. Either you're a good shooter or you're not. I don't care what position you play. But right now, he's been a good shooter for any position, and he is playing like a defensive player of the year. So yeah, Brook Lopez, got to give him respect for that. I can't deny what my eyes are seeing. Brook has been fantastic. Emmanuel Quickley might be better and will be better long-term than Cade Cunningham. He just hasn't really gotten the right amount of opportunities. Are we fucking for real right now? I know that fan bias is like a really big thing. I really do. And I understand that it can lead to some otherwise reasonable people making some ludicrous takes. But this is really bad. Emmanuel Quickley, maybe I'll have this conversation when he shoots above 40% from the field. Until that day, this is a fucking garbage take. And even if he did shoot above 40% from the field, seriously, who do you think Emmanuel Quickley is? Because he's not who you think he is. Commented this one before, but I think Ayo Dosunmu will be a low-tier all-star level guy. Phenomenal defensively, a positive shooter and passer, and you've mentioned how good to great things happen when he drives, and that just screams star potential. I think Ayo Dosunmu's ceiling is like a Mike Conley tier player. Really the number one thing that he has to figure out, and once he does, like, I think he's kind of already unlocked like borderline star potential. If he got his handle a lot better, that would make a world of difference, because he's a good finisher. His three ball's pretty all right. His pull-up mid-range numbers look good. He's got a decent floater game. It's just his handle is fine. It's enough to be a connector to actually allow him to score, but it's not enough to where he's actively creating advantages with his ability to dribble. You know what I mean? Like, he's not turning the ball over like Jaylen Brown type shit because of his handle, but he's also not out there like doing some AI type shit. Not that I expect him to get to that level, but if you can just create advantages with your dribble, that's the real only thing that Ayo seriously isn't already really good at. His three-point shooting has been pretty good, although the volume is low enough, and his confidence out there is notable enough. His body language suggests that, like, I don't think he's the most confident shooter. I don't think he's a great one, but I definitely say he's a plus floor spacer. He's really got some amazing passing instincts, had multiple double-digit assist games last year, and he's a really good defensive player. So Ayo Dosunmu, at the very least, his floor, because he's already here right now, he's already a pretty good starter. If he could very well reach a borderline all-star level, I believe. Morant is better than Stephen Curry. This is now the third hot takes video where Ja being suggested as better than another player is the thumbnail take. And that's because it works. I think it's ridiculous to say that any point guard other than Magic Johnson has ever been better than Steph. Even this older version of Steph. Steph is still is averaging 30 this season. Like, it's not like he's regressed. It doesn't seem like, you know, if Steph starts, I'm sure there will be a point where Steph is in the league and Ja is in the league and Ja is better than Steph. That might happen in the last like year or two of Steph's career, but that's it. There is still a significant notable difference between the two in terms of their impact on the game, and that's not a knock on Ja Morant. Ja Morant is probably somewhere in the conversation for like a top 15 player, or at least on the border of it. But Steph Curry is the second greatest point guard of all time, if not the greatest to some people. I'd still give it to Magic personally. But he's just so much better than Ja, and that's not a knock on Ja Morant. Same shit for when we've talked about him versus Dame. Same shit for we talked about him versus Westbrook when that was a conversation. Obviously, it's not a knock on those guys to be not as good as Steph Curry. Steph Curry is one of the at minimum 15 best players to have ever played the game. I think he's encroaching on being a top 10 player to have ever played the game. So yeah, Steph is better than Ja Morant currently, and will probably be for another year or two, and then Ja will probably take that title, but that's just because Steph will be old as shit, and I don't think Ja is going to peak nearly as high as Steph Curry did. The Jazz won both the Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert trades. I would argue that they won the Rudy Gobert trade. I think the Donovan Mitchell trade is going to be a win-win. Like, the Cavs look great, and the Jazz look good, and they got a lot of assets out of them. And the Rudy Gobert trade, the Timberwolves don't look so great. Cat having to play defense against forwards is looking like that might be their Achilles heel, and that's a problem. But yeah, I definitely think Utah did great this offseason for blowing up that roster. I think they blew up the roster about as efficiently as they could. Thank you for revving your engine really loud, guy outside. But yeah, I wouldn't say that the Jazz won the Mitchell trade, because that implies that the Cavaliers lost. I think both of them won. Dennis Smith Jr. will redeem himself in Charlotte. What's fun about this take is it came out just 3 games into Dennis Smith playing for the Hornets, and he has played 4 more and continued to be great. So yeah, Dennis Smith Jr. has been redeeming himself in Charlotte. It's only 7 games, so we're not going to say outright that it's going to stick around, but I'm pretty happy with how he's been playing, and I don't think it's impossible that it will. And here we are to our media take at the end of the video, which is movies, TV, or video games. Modern Warfare 2 is the best Modern Warfare since Modern Warfare 3, and by the time all of the post-launch content drops, it will be top 3. Well, personally, I think Modern Warfare 2019 is a notably better game than Modern Warfare 3. Probably Modern Warfare, I don't want to say better than Modern Warfare 2. That's probably not true. I mean, objectively from a gameplay standpoint, but that's just because the advancements in technology, not because like relative to the time period. Anyways, the gunplay of both the most recent Modern Warfare games is off of the charts fantastic. Maps, not so good. Those kind of blow, especially that goddamn map that's like at the border of Mexico, I think, that's just nothing but cars on a highway. Drives me up the fucking wall, that map. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with this Modern Warfare, and I'm especially looking to when looking forward to when Warzone 2 drops. But yeah, that was it. Goodbye.